All right, what's up, guys? Stream is, I don't know, something was broken there, but should be working now. Let me know in the chat if you can see my screen, if it's actually moving. Before it was just stuck on Prize Picks. What I was saying last time is when you're looking at Poly Market and these prediction markets, which I highly recommend that you guys start getting on. I mean, these are like Kalshi, Poly Market, Novig, whatever. All of those are available in basically every single state. Depends on what state you're in on the one that you can get, but these are available everywhere. So make sure that you have an account and it's funded, whether that's Polymarket, Kalshi, Novig. And what I was talking about before was just the difference in the market buy versus a limit buy. And so what that means is, like, let's say you want to take the Yankees today, and you can see, Polymarket's offering minus 127 on the Yankees. You want to put $100 on it. You actually don't get minus 127. You get minus 131 because there's a fee of $1.32. Now, that's 4 cents, not a huge deal, you might think, but that does add up. So what I'd recommend doing instead is placing a limit order. Instead of 56 cents, you put it at 55, and that ends up giving you odds of minus 122. Now, obviously, you need to get filled on that. In this market, you probably wouldn't get filled. As you can see, there's $20,000 of liquidity at that price. So you would need $20,000 to be filled before you would get filled. So this is not the best example of a time where a limit order would make sense. But just keep in mind, on your market orders, you do get hit with a pretty solid fee. I mean, again, it's 4 cents, but it's over time that actually does add up quite a bit. Anywho, it's time to build out some Taco Tuesday slips on Prize Picks. Now, I'm using the desktop version. It's no longer in Canada, so I actually need to go on my phone and take a look at the actual app to see what this taco is. It doesn't show up for some reason on the desktop version for me. But the first taco is Jalen Brunson, 21.5 points. So let's pretend that this is a taco. All right, we're going to have to pretend that. 21.5, huge discount, 6 points. It's probably minus 400 or something on FanDuel. So definitely a really, really solid leg to add in there. Now, what I've been liking to do with tacos is taking a look at MLB correlation and looking specifically at the top 3 guys in the order. So this game here, Braves and Marlins starting pretty soon. And what I would look at doing is looking at these top guys, Acuna, Dubon, and Olsen here, and trying to correlate it the best that we can. So let's start off with taking a look at Acuna. See what kind of lines we're offered with. So perfect. A run line is absolutely perfect. Top of the order, he's going to get probably 5 plate appearances. And if anybody does anything behind him and he gets on base, he's going to score. So getting that run line is huge. So we're going to start off with Acuna with the run. Look at Dubon. Perfect. Hits, runs, RBI. That's what we love to see. Again, these hits, runs, RBI lines are fantastic for correlation because it's basically just saying he's going to do something and everybody else around him will benefit from him doing something. Whether that's a hit, a sac fly, a walk, he gets on base, then he scores. These kinds of things are very, very correlated, specifically when you're looking at, players that are, hitting 1, 2, 3 or 2, 3, 4, that kind of thing, that are close in the order. Very, very correlated plays together. And let's finish it off with Olsen. Now, technically, taking Olsen RBI actually would be my preferred play. However, on Prize Picks, RBIs with a demon, not exactly the best. So you're getting 9.75x with Olsen RBI. If you take Olsen hits, runs, RBI, you get 8.75x. However, Olsen's RBI is likely a lot less favored than his hits, runs, RBI. If we take a look at an odds screen here, pull up Olsen with RBIs. You can see his RBI is plus 135 on FanDuel, 158 on Novig. So I'd say it's around like 140 or so. But then if we look at his hits, runs, RBIs, It's going to be probably minus 115, minus 120. Yeah, actually pretty favored. FanDuel's got a one-way line, which I don't love. I wouldn't really put much weight into that. But looking at ProfitX at minus 133, Novig minus 118, I think it makes sense to take the payout shift at 8.75x and take this slip here. Again, it's really just saying Acuna gets on base, one of these guys knocks him in. That's Acuna run. That's 2 hits, runs, RBIs for these guys. If Dubon gets on base, Matt Olson gets a hit, knocks him in for an RBI, they both cash, right? So very, very correlated. This is going to be the first taco slip here. Brunson, Acuna, Dubon, and Olson. I'm going to send this in the Discord here quickly as well while you guys get this bet in. Now, obviously, a shift down to 8.75x is reducing your edge quite a bit, as opposed to a 10x. However, I would rather take 8.75x with the hits, runs, RBI as opposed to 9.75x with the RBI. Just seeing as we're actually getting decent value on his hits, runs, RBIs on Prize Picks. It's pretty much like 0% EV-ish, just as a standalone leg, maybe like a minus 2%. Whereas his RBI, we would be getting way worse odds on that. So we're gonna stick with that, and yeah, that's gonna be our first taco slip here. Brunson taco with these 3 legs. Let's find Matt Olson and finish it off here. Now there are ways actually to get a better payout on Prize Picks. You can kind of play around with it to see if you can get like a 9x or even a 9.5x. I think sometimes when you're using hits, runs, RBIs, and runs, they're going to reduce it more, but it is the most correlated. It is the easiest to hit, so that's kind of what we're going to be rolling with today. Alrighty, get that sent in the Discord for everybody else, and we're on our way. What's up, guys? Welcome in. Here we go. Let's start off by looking at the Larry model. Actually, not a ton of esports today. Looks like the volume's kind of down across the board on all apps, but here is a nice slip that you guys can tail. We've got a League of Legends prop, Adrian here, over 4.5. Really nice, projected at 6.5, so you get a two kill gap here. We like that play. Demon 1 under 32.5. It's actually 31.5 on an underdog, so definitely take it on Prize Picks. And we're getting projected again, basically a 2 kill gap to the projection. And then finally this League of Legends prop. Now I'm not sure if it actually will get to map 5 kills here, but let's see. Okay, yeah. So we'll need to keep that one in there. But that's our last leg. There's definitely a chance that's going to push. I'm not sure if the game's going to get to map 5, but that's a good leg to add in to make it a 3-man. Obviously, when you want to avoid taking legs that might push or might DNP. So this one might be, but unfortunately, there's really just not a ton of value on the board. If we do look at the board, we actually probably could find something else to add in there. You could take this Volt play here. Again, map 3 kills though, so maybe not my favorite. Actually, this Mercury play here, pretty solid. Under 14 kills. It's a 5% edge, not the biggest one. It's projecting 13, but under 14 there is solid. Again, it's a push prop, so there's a chance he pushes, it DNPs, it goes down to 3x for the payout, which, again, not my favorite because getting a 3x on a 2-man, it's you're really not getting the best value. But, again, not very many esports legs out today. Let's look at Larry's all-time stats. So in May here, the results for May, pretty solid. Had a bit of a rough patch last few days, no doubt about it. Tuesday was a bloodbath, but Saturday made up for that with a 29 unit day there. And same thing with this Saturday, 26 units. Saturdays seem to be printing. Must be because of Call of Duty doing really, really well there. But yeah, 21.3% ROI now for May. All time with Larry, 28.9% ROI. And I mean, this is what he does. He has a model that wins 60% of the time, right? A 60% win rate. And if you're playing those in a 3-man slip on Prize Picks, or a 5-man or a 6-man, you're going to be getting a solid 20 to 35% ROI, depending on obviously the pairings that you add in there. But looking at all the props, all time, basically 42,217 props, it's winning at a 60% win rate for a 28.9% ROI. So very, very, very profitable. If you have Prize Picks, Underdog, I mean, really anything, Parlay Play, Dabble, Pick 6, Sleeper, Boom, Better, Thunder Pick, Bovada, Stake. There's so many books that you can get these bets on. It's definitely worth trying out. I believe if you're watching this on YouTube, there is a trial link in the description to check it out. If you have used a trial before and you want another trial, feel free to send me a DM on Twitter and I can get you hooked up with one. But yeah, this is by far the best DFS product I've ever used. I've made, tens of thousands of dollars using the esports model. However, Prize Picks limits you really quickly. Same with Underdog. It sucks, but it's kind of a reality. You can just, use this, make some good money, and then eventually you get limited. Now, one thing to look at here, if we're looking at other ways to get money down for esports, I would recommend you guys take a look at our Discord server and our EV model plays. Now, this is how we've done in May so far, up 5.8 units in May. And we're actually up a unit betting esports on Polymarket. MLB, we're up 2.39 units, NHL 1.34, and NBA 1 unit so far this month. And these are all, or not all, 80% of them are mainline bets that you can get on Polymarket, Kalshi, Novig, FanDuel, DraftKings, really wherever you can get, MLB, NHL, NBA mainlines down, you can get these bets in. And then for esports specifically, these are on Polymarket, Kalshi, BetOnline has some of these, Pinnacle has these, and so these are really, really solid bets to be taking. And if we look at our all-time numbers, we can see right here in April up 2.49 units, March 9.52, February 1.9, and we were down 2.3 units in January. Very, very small, just 10 bets in January. But as you can see, our volume is increasing. We're using new models, finding the best bets, and sending them in the Discord, and cashing out every month. It's been really, really good. So if you guys are limited on DFS apps and you've been wanting to try Polymarket, but it's kind of intimidating because it's a prediction market, it's different, you have to place limit orders, blah, 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 I highly recommend you join the community and you start tailing these, because we'll help you, we'll get you started, and you can cash out with us because there are no limits. You can get as much money down as you want. Okay. Speaking of Larry and prediction markets, Larry is developing something for Polymarket as well, and prediction markets like Kalshi. So that will be coming soon. Just making sure that the bets are actually really, really high quality, because obviously everything we share needs to be the highest of quality as possible. All right, I'm gonna look at the chat now. Take Olsen Fantasy. He gets walked a lot. Yeah, I don't mind that. The Olsen Fantasy line would be fine too at 5.5. The issue with 5.5 is if Olsen gets a hit in an RBI, or he gets a hit and a run, or something along those lines, he doesn't cover that line, whereas he'll cover this. Now, like you mentioned, if he were to walk and then get walk, and that's the issue with the 5 line. It's just not my favorite, because if he gets a walk and a hit, he doesn't cover this line. That's 5 fantasy score. If he gets a walk and a run, doesn't cover. A walk and an RBI, doesn't cover. You would need him to get a walk, a hit, and an RBI or a run to cover, which you would already cover on the 1.5. So really the only reason you'd want to take the 5.5 fantasy score is if you think he's going to be walking more than once, right? Because you would need him. I mean, I guess one way he could cover is a walk and a double, or a triple or a home run, because you get more fantasy score for that. So that's one way he would cover this line and wouldn't cover this. But I'm seeing a higher likelihood in him covering the 1.5. I would be curious, though. So you do actually get a 0.25x payout boost for taking the fantasy score. I'm going to stick with HRR, but if you want to take walks, that's totally fair. What are some good books to find EV bets as a Canadian? Already limited on 365, 99, and Campy. Yeah, I mean, I got limited on 365 and Bet99 3 years ago when I first started. So it's very tough with these small Canadian books. However, okay, he followed up with, earn some good money exploiting these soft books using optimizers, unable to get money down almost everywhere. So yeah, what I was talking about before, definitely get on Polymarket, get on Pinnacle, and start tailing the model bets that we're sending. These are mainline bets like MLB totals, money lines, esports money lines, that kind of thing. Those are really, really good ways to get money down. You're not going to be limited on those apps, and we have an edge. We have a solid 5%-ish ROI, even 10%, depends on the month, but overall very, very profitable. So that's a big thing nowadays is finding edges on main lines where you can get them down on apps that aren't going to limit you. Now, if you're betting these on FanDuel and DraftKings, like main lines on MLB and NHL and stuff, you probably won't be limited either, right? Because all of these model bets are EV to the model. Kaz, do you look at the chat? Yes, I do. What's up, man? All of the model bets that we're sending in the Discord, the ones here that we send them in EV model, right here. And sure, I'll give you guys some free value here. Giants and D-backs under 8.5 runs, plus 100 to minus 110. And part of what I love about Polymarket is you can make sure that you're getting a good price. You put a limit buy in for, let's say, minus 108 or something, and you'll be able to get this bet in. You can see that across the market on books where you're not going to be limited, Pinnacle minus 109, Bet 105 minus 108, FanDuel minus 110, even DraftKings minus 105, great price right there too. So, BetMGM minus 105. So this is a really good bet to take. As you can see, another one here, Cleveland Cavaliers spread plus 7.5 at minus 114. These are really good bets for today to take on Polymarket or whatever book you can get, and just make sure that you're getting a price that is very close to what we're recommending it at, because that's how we track the stats, the things I'm showing right here. These stats are tracked based on the lines that we're telling you to bet them at. So if you're betting a line that we say minus 110, you're betting it at minus 120, well, you're losing 10 cents of value on each dollar that you're wagering, right? So you got to make sure that you are betting it at the odds that we're giving. And so again, it goes back to getting on as many books as possible. Get on Polymarket, get on Kalshi. That's where some big edges are right now, as you can see. I would say it doesn't seem like it's anything special here, because it's, actually this is special. 16% ROI this month is ridiculously special. We're not going to average that all time. But we are averaging, let's say 5% or so all time. Now to speak about more, actually I'll answer a question here. How often would these bets get filled at the odds you post? Just curious, because I've tried Poly, but sometimes orders don't get filled because of the price. Yeah, totally fair question. I would say from my experience that the EV model bets that we are sending, you're getting filled at 90 to 95% of the time. Potentially even more, maybe 95% would be pretty close to it. We also have a smaller community called Juiced Plus. We've partnered with Caleb from Pure Victory Picks. He has a 3% ROI on prediction markets like NoVig on all mainline bets. And so we actually just opened up 10 more spots for Juiced Plus This is for people who have larger bankrolls, so at least $5,000 bankroll, long-term disciplined bettors, and wanting to take it more seriously. As you can see, Caleb's stats so far this month, 10% ROI, up 9.63 units. However, over 10,000 bets that Caleb has bet on Novig, all main lines, he's getting a 3% ROI over 10,000 bets. So that means you're making 3% on every dollar that you wager, and you're able to wager as much as you want because you never get limited. No limits on these bets here. So this Juice Plus group is a small group. It's a small group that we're not letting everybody in. There's a wait list for a reason. You can expect about 10 bets per day. And this is where you can get extra volume on Polymarket, Novig, Kalshi, and yeah, you're getting a 3% ROI basically. I mean, he's done this over 10,000 bets at a 3% ROI. There's no reason that wouldn't continue over the long term. Last month, he had a 2.5% ROI. As you can see, this month, so far, he's at a 10.6%. So again, I mean, like, it sounds like I'm selling you on a lot of things, and, you know, maybe I am, but I'm always trying to sell you on things that actually make me money, this is exactly what they do. These products that we've come out with actually do make you money in the long term, or even medium term. Like, give it at least a month. Same thing for Larry, Juice Plus, whatever it is. You got to be looking at the long-term outlook on things. You can't just be sitting around here expecting to make a ton of money in one day when you join something. So yeah. Don't be sorry for asking questions. I love answering questions. Ask as many as you want. Would you bet a player prop if it's plus EV DVIG to no VIG? Heard those exchanges are sharp. Yeah, absolutely. Let's look at OddsJam here. By the way, for those of you who just joined up, this is going to be our first taco slip, the Brunson taco with Acuna, Dubon, and Olsen. So run for Acuna and then hits, runs, RBIs for Dubon and Olsen. I don't even know if that's how you pronounce Dubon. I don't know. All right. I'm going to answer your question now. Okay. So, actually, I'll go to the screen. Let's go to the screen. All right. Let's use Olsen hits, runs, RBI as an example here. So, when I'm looking at a player prop, I'm not just devigging to one book. And, you know, people could, you know, realistically, you could be profitable just devigging to FanDuel, just devigging to Novig, whatever. I mean, I'm sure there are sample sizes and some form of research done where it's like, hey, if you devig to this book on this market, you know, it's profitable to this extent. I am personally in the camp of let's be more conservative and make sure that we're getting an EV bet that is good to more than just one book. And so the books that I'm always kind of looking at, first of all, it's got to be a two-way line. This FanDuel one-way line basically means nothing to me. Now, the reason why is because FanDuel's just offering the over, right? The over at minus 135. If FanDuel's offering minus 135 on a one-way line, you can basically guarantee that they are juicing that line. They know you can't take the under, so we're putting just the over, and we're going to add extra VIG to that, right? And the reason they do this, they want to make more money off of you. They want to give you shittier odds. And so the way to ensure that a line isn't juiced like crazy is to have a two-way line where you have the under as well. Now, let's just assume that FanDuel is offering a two-way line, and let's say they're offering it at minus 130 plus 100, okay? So the books that I would look for player props for MLB and NBA would be FanDuel, DraftKings, Novig, ProfitX, and I might even look at BetOnline/Prop Builder as well. And the reason why I like to look at a market average is because if you're looking to place an EV bet that is based on the market or based off of sharp books, you need to be very confident that the market is sharp for that, right? A one-way line on Olsen on FanDuel is not sharp. You need to be making sure that it's sharp. So let's head back to the Fantasy Optimizer on OddsJam and see if we can find any good examples of this. Okay, so like actually this Dane Myers one, under 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs, is interesting because you don't have a FanDuel line because they're just offering the one-way overs. You don't have a Pinnacle line either. I mean, I would look at Pinnacle as well, to be honest. And I can't see no vig here. So, you know what? Let's go to Upside Tools instead. Here we go. Okay, so yeah, so that Dane Myers play that I saw on OddsJam, but I couldn't see no vig or Profit X on Upside Tools, you can see that now. And so this is a fantastic play, right? Like, why? Minus 152 on Novig, minus 152 on Profit X, minus 157 on DraftKings, right? These are sharpish books, or the sharpest we can get. They are all agreeing on the consensus of minus 152-ish for the under. And as we know on Prize Picks, if you want to get a profitable bet on Prize Picks, you need to be playing 3-mans for a 6x or 5-man flex / 6-man flex. And the reason why is because your implied odds are going to be the lowest. They're going to be around minus 119 or minus 122. And so if you're getting the implied odds at those prices, you need to make sure that the market odds are at least minus 145, minus 150, because that gives you enough of an edge to rationalize this being an EV bet. So this Myers play, absolutely, this under is really good. I would absolutely add that to a slip. If you want to pair this with a taco and another leg, do it. This is a good leg for sure. Minus 152. Okay, for example, I'm getting Chase Burns over 1.5 walks at minus 110 on BetVictor. Shows 6% EV on my optimizer. Let's take a look for you. Chase Burns over walks. I mean, just from an emotional standpoint, I like that because he does throw some crazy gas, and his control isn't always the best. So here we go. So yeah, that's a good play, and I can give you an example why here. Let me pull up Crazy Ninja Mike, and I will devig this for you. So we're getting minus 110 on the book, and then for the market, you can see here that Chase Burns. Let's look at the sharp book. So you got no vig minus 145. You've got DraftKings minus 141. And that looks to be it. FanDuel's not offering a line. And yeah, but I mean, even if you just look at the rest of the market, I'm not saying these are sharp books, but like these are data points here. You know, minus 155 on Caesars, minus 149 Coolbet, minus 160 Fliff, minus 140 Hard Rock. It's pretty clear that this play should be around minus 140, right? Let's say it's at minus 140 to be conservative. Minus 140, and then we're gonna add. We have to add the other side. You could add 7% juice if you wanted to when you're devigging, but we could just, let's say minus 140. It's plus 105 on the other side. So 105. You devig that. It's a 4% EV play for about a unit, quarter Kelly. So that play at minus 110, absolutely good. However, it does look like you can get a better line if you did have Bet 105 or Sports Interaction, which are both available in Canada. You said you've already used 99, but Sports Interaction is a good one to get. And one thing to consider is that Sports Interaction is basically a skin of BetMGM. So all the lines you're getting on BetMGM, same thing as Sports Interaction. So that's how I would go about understanding, is this play good? I got a ping that's a 6% EV play, is it good? And to sort of tie that in here, you can see that, I don't know why I opened this. If you're looking at EV plays, what I would recommend taking a look at are our EV bots that are in the Discord. And the reason why is because we use a weighted market average for these bets. And so that means that we're not just devigging to one book or something like that. We're devigging to a market average that weights the sharper sports books like Novig, FanDuel, DraftKings higher than, like, I don't really care what Bovada or Fliff has to say about a line, because they're not sharp, right? They're not going to be like giving you a good data point. So as an example, on this play here on DraftKings, this is plus 185. On FanDuel, it's plus 128. Pinnacle plus 142. So you're getting a really, really good line to Pinnacle, which is quite sharp for tennis. And then also just FanDuel in general, it's a two-way line, so it's a good data point, plus 128. So if we average that out, let's say it's plus 140 or something, and you're getting plus 185, like that's clearly an EV play, because the fair value is plus 166. And so that's what our bots do, is they show you quality plays to take. It tells you exactly what it is. It pings you when it's available, and then it gives you a link to place the bet right here, and then it shows you, okay, your unit rec, the fair value based on the market, and then it shows you every book that is offering that line, so you can give it a quick little glance, say, okay, I'm getting plus 140. Where's Pinnacle? Where's FanDuel? Okay, Pinnacle's at 103, FanDuel minus 102. Perfect. Fair value's around plus 120. I'm getting 140. That's an EV play. And so these bots, we have the bots that have a weighted market average. So those are good for main lines and for player props. And then we also just have Pinny bots. These are just devigging main lines to Pinnacle, because with Pinnacle, main lines, they're very sharp. We can feel comfortable tailing plays that are just being compared to Pinnacle if it's a main market. And so let's find a good example here. More tennis on DraftKings. Lots of DraftKings value for tennis. Looks like a lot of tennis today. But you've got like corners, like soccer corners, very sharp on on Pinnacle usually. And so we're getting like plus 140 on this when Pinnacle's at 105, and again, devigging to Pinnacle. So the bots are really good to get volume in. I don't play singles. I try to parlay them on books whenever I can. I feel like accounts last longer doing that. Absolutely. 100% parlaying them makes a lot of sense. One thing you can look at when you are trying to avoid limits and you're parlaying bets together, you can look at parlaying it either with another EV prop. So let's say you get pinged on DraftKings here. Where is it? Here. Let's say you get pinged on DraftKings for this tennis bet. You can add it to your slip, and then you can also check, okay, well, maybe there's another one I can add. And you can stack that EV into a parlay, which is fantastic to do. Or what you could do is just add a like dummy leg to that bet. So a dummy leg would be like, a minus 1,000 money line, or minus 3,000 player prop, where it's like somebody to get like one strikeout, or like somebody to not steal a base, which you could do, but that's kind of looks a bit sharp, taking the under on a stolen base, so I'd actually avoid doing that. But just looking at these dummy legs that are very, very favored to win, adding it into your slip where you're still getting the value of the EV leg, but you're masking it in a parlay so it doesn't look as sharp to the sports book. Now, again, I don't work at a sports book. I am not a trader for the sports book. I don't know exactly what they're looking at for limits, but a few things I do know. They're looking for CLV. If you take this bet here at minus 1010 and it moves to minus 150, they will know that. They'll see that you got closing line value on that bet, and that will mark you as a sharp better. So adding in another leg into a parlay really does make a lot of sense and is a good idea for sure. Okay. Let's see what else we can do here. I showed this earlier, the Larry model. Here's a slip you can take for the Larry's EV model. Again, very, very profitable on DFS apps. We're working at getting it on Polymarket and apps where, like main sports books, where you won't be limited. So that includes Kalshi, Polymarket, Novig, ProfitX, Pinnacle, Bet105. These books that will not limit you because they're confident in the lines that they are offering. Yeah. And yeah, that's about it. That's all I got about that. Let's take a look at parlay play. Anybody got parlay play in the chat? We actually posted some pretty good bets on parlay play earlier. I will show you a couple. So here's a good one to take. Griffin Jax under 4.5 strikeouts and Bryce Harper over 1.5 hits, runs, RBI. Now the reason why we took this, and it's for a 3.27x payout here. Now the reason we took this is because we are using Better Odds' models. Now these are, again, a good way to avoid limits because you're not getting CLV. This is a bottom-up approach. EV betting with a market where you're saying, hey, Pinnacle's at minus 150, I'm getting minus 110. Great bet to take, good value. Makes sense, but oftentimes these books will know that their lines are off. You might get CLV, and they can see that you're, an advantage better pretty easily. However, with a model, we are looking at plays that the model is saying it should be priced at this, and it's not, so then you should be taking the under, right? So as an example here, these are a couple decent bets. Now, one thing I recommend doing when you're using the Better Odds model for main lines and for player props is you're looking at 8 out of 9s and 9 out of 9s, specifically the unders. And then for 7 out of 9s, the unders are actually good as well, but not quite as good. If we look at the back test results, you can see that 9 out of 9 plays, and he grades them, how confident these bets are. So for 9 out of 9s, for the under, it's a 29% ROI. For the over, it's actually minus 19%. That's pretty crazy. So the unders are definitely the way to go here. And then for 8 out of 9s, a 25% ROI, and for 7 out of 9s, a 15.9% ROI. And again, those are for main lines, right? And so taking bets from an EV model like this allows you to not look like you're an advantage better. And the reason why is because you're just taking a line that's, the same as the rest of the market, basically. Obviously, you want to line shop. If you can, go to Polymarket, place an order, right? Place a limit order where you're getting a better price than what the market is. That's one way to go about doing it. You're not going to be limited on Polymarket. So those are things to keep in mind. Let's go back to Better Odds and their MLB Labs product. So these are two pretty solid bets to be taking here. Both of them under the Texas game under 10 and the Diamondbacks game under 8.5. And the reason why we still want to take these even when the model is projecting a line that's very closest to the market is that you can actually get plus money on these bets. So that's why there is value there. One thing also you could do is you could take the under 10.5 at minus 115 or something, and that would be a good bet to take as well. Now, one thing that I like to look at when I'm looking at the Better Odds model here is looking at their explosiveness rating and making sure the explosiveness is somewhat low on these bets. Basically, what explosiveness means is the larger the explosiveness number, the higher the upside is for runs. So if you're taking an over, you'd be wanting to take an over that has a high explosiveness rating, like this Dodgers play here. It's 1.83 explosiveness, which is the second highest explosiveness on the day. But if you're taking an under, obviously taking the 12th highest, or 4th lowest explosiveness is a good idea. So this one would probably be my play if I were to take one of them. Would be this Giants and Diamondbacks under here. Now, they've also got player props. And player props, this is why I showed you the parlay play, and it's a fair question. Someone says, feels like the lines on parlay play are super juiced always. Hardly any plus EV bets out there using optimizers. Absolutely. You're not going to find EV bets on parlay play using an optimizer. What I'd recommend doing for parlay play, using the Larry model, and then also using bottom-up models like this model here, like the Better Odds Labs model. allows you to get some plays. And so what I do is I filter it by Prize Picks. I gotta get some lunch here, man. I'm starving. Holy. And these are really good plays to play on Prize Picks. You can see Springer is projected at 2.21 hits, runs, RBIs. You get 1.5 on Prize Picks at minus 122. Very solid to take. But anyways, earlier, what I really liked about, and this is why I sent this play on Parlay Play, this one here, Griffin Jax under strikeouts, Harper over HRR, is Griffin Jax here. He's projected 3.71 strikeouts, and that's an 18% play to a minus 122. Well, on Parlay Play, we're getting 1.86, which is basically minus 122 or around there. So this is a really solid play to take. I like taking it on Parlay Play because I'm not limited there. I'm able to actually get money down, which is great. I'll probably be limited there eventually, but it is a place where I can get it right now. And then Harper at 1.76, not quite as good of a play, but still projected to get 2.03 HRR. And the fair value minus 151. So we're still getting good value there. And that would be a play to take on Parlay Play. On the Larry model, would you recommend to remove the map 345 maps? What are your filters for it? Yeah, I actually probably would recommend removing those. Unless you're kind of looking at it like as the game's going on and you see that a game will be going to map, 4 or 5, I think makes the most sense. But yeah, for Counter-Strike, removing map 3 makes sense because, you want to reduce the number of DNPs that you have. And so what's nice about Larry is you can go to the slip page, go to the settings, go to the sports, and actually I haven't done this in a while. Here we go. And you can remove map 3, 4, 5 plays. And so you can turn that on or off. Looks like I have that on for CS, but I didn't have it on for League of Legends, and that's why this play is popping up. But yeah, absolutely. Just go into the settings by sport and just turn on the remove 3, 4, 5 plays. It just reduces the number of DNPs on legs that you have, which on Prize Picks makes a big difference. On Underdog, it doesn't make as much of a difference because a 2-man on Underdog is actually good at a 3.5x. That's how I play Larry on Underdog, is just 2-mans. Now, there's arguments to be made that playing 6-mans are better because you're going to be limited quickly anyway, so you might as well try to hit a big slip. But to me, playing 2-mans, use it for a couple weeks, get limited, make a couple $1,000, move on, is worth it. Also, the unlimited accounts on Underdog, you can still get $75 a day down, which isn't a huge deal, but, if you have a bunch of friends that have accounts, you know what to do. What's cooking today on Prize Picks? Very good question. Here's our first taco of the day. Acuna runs, Dubon HRR, Olsen HRR with the Brunson taco. It's for an 8.75x. So that's what we're ripping for taco. Other legs that you could look at would be these League of Legends props, taking this Adrian League of Legends play over 4.5 and this Demon play under 32.5 for Valorant. These two plays plus a taco for 6x really, really solid. Definitely would do that. So yeah, I guess to finish off the stream, really what I'm looking at on the daily, how I'm getting my volume right now, is obviously taking promos on all apps. Chalkboard has some really, really nice promos. I highly recommend getting on Chalkboard. We send Chalkboard bets in the Discord every single day. Here's a long shot one you could take. These are EV2 Circa, which is what we like to do for home runs. We'll be sending a Moneyball play, and so Chalkboard sending out all these promos. They have this Moneyball promo where if you take a player to go over their total points in the NBA, and each 3-pointer they hit is actually worth 4 points for that promo. So as an example, if we were to take a player over 11.5 points and he ends up getting, 10 points, but 2 threes, that ends up being 12 total points, and you would cash that. I did that literally yesterday with Vassell. He ended up cashing the Moneyball promo because he had 2 threes, but he would have gone under his total points without it. Actually, that's a lie. Maybe he would have gone over because of the overtime. I kind of stopped looking once he cashed. Let's see. So he finished with 13 points. So he actually would have gone over regardless. However, that's because it's double OT. But if it finished in regulation, you would have gotten screwed without that Moneyball promo. So it was pretty clutch that they have that. But yeah, Chalkboard's a really good one. We're also finding a lot of value on home runs. As you can see, we sent so many today. I'm just going to scroll like that because I don't want to show you all of them. But free trial to join the Discord. Just send me a DM or claim it in the description. Very, very good. So Chalkboard is a focus for sure. Then I look at the Larry model for Prize Picks, Parlay Play, Underdog. Even can play them on Chalkboard. We're going to be releasing Chalkboard to the model very soon as well, which is exciting. Then I look at the MLB Labs product from Better Odds. I place these mainline bets, these player prop bets when I can get a good line. I look at these player prop bets on Parlay Play because that allows me to get more money down. And then for the mainline bets, I'm placing them on Polymarket or Pinnacle. These are really good spots to place those bets. And then also we're playing MLB correlations slips based on lineups. As always, done it the last 2 years. I think we're, up a couple of units so far this year. It's been pretty solid. April is actually really good. May has been not so good, but we're looking to turn around today. Hopefully today we can turn that around. And then, yeah, just the general, top-down EV stuff. This Dane Myers play is a really good one to take on Prize Picks. See if there's anything else here. Anything new? Looks like Myers may have bumped. Not a ton there. One thing to keep in mind when you're using optimizers, this might, they might say, okay, this is, it's a good play to take. But when you actually look at it, I mean, minus 130 on exchanges, even minus 139. Let's do a little experiment here. Minus 139 and then 7% juice. And we will do that for all 3 legs. And we're getting plus 500 in 3-man. Minus 3.7% EV. It's something to keep in mind, guys, is like, these optimizers are definitely profitable, definitely quality plays that you can find from these. But it's important to be selective. Like this Volpe play, I mean, some apps are juicing it quite a bit, but even at minus 140, it's not EV. It just isn't. So, yeah, I mean, that's the reality of it, guys. I mean, back in the day, you might be able to find more on optimizers, but nowadays everybody's using them. Books are quick to adjust, and so it's harder. And that's why we have all these other products at Juiced Bets. That's why we're trying to find as many other ways to get profitable bets in that are not just based on optimizers, because they're just so hard nowadays to actually get quality plays. This play is pretty solid. Those tennis play, I mean, minus 150 kind of across the board on DraftKings and Rebet. I mean, do I think that Rebet's very sharp? No. But you could probably add that to a slip, minus 150. But yeah, that's why at Juice we're focusing more on, prediction markets and mainline bets where you have an edge, you got a 5% ROI, but you're not going to be limited. Or Juice Plus, where it's a 3% ROI, and it's all main lines, all on prediction markets and no VIG and exchanges like that. That's why there's a lot of focus there. And we use correlation on Prize Picks as well. Do I only... no, so... For adding in the map filters 3, 4, and 5 and removing them from the Larry model, I just had it like this for some reason, but you could totally remove it from all bets, from all sports, totally. Do you think the Cavs Knicks game goes over 217 tonight? Well, Corey, it's a fair question. However, my opinion just does not matter at all. It just doesn't matter. I only look at the market and models that are profitable long term. That's how I make my decisions on betting. So let's look at it though. Let's look at the market. So market's at 217.5. Circa's at 218. So I would actually say, like, if you really wanted to bet on the total, or I don't know, for some reason you really need to bet on the total, taking over 217 would be my play. Main reason is just because Circa's at 218, and I like Circa's lines. They're quite sharp. And the rest of the market's 217.5. So taking it at 217, you get a slight, you get an extra 0.5 point. Now, again, I wouldn't go about just betting that because of that, but if you really needed to, gun to your head, yeah, I'd take the over 217 just based on that. But that doesn't, yeah, my opinion, I'm completely removing my opinion from it. Alrighty, I think that's kind of everything we're looking at. If any of you guys are interested in investing and trading, we actually opened a small investing and trading community called Juiced Wealth. This is, we partnered up with a finance major and somebody who's been working in finance for the last 5 years, who has now gone into trading full time. And so, yeah, I mean, he's actually been crushing lately. Looking at the trade results, I mean, it's just like green like crazy. Well, there actually was a loss here, but lots and lots of green. If we look at the recaps from last month, we can just look at this image. Assuming a $10,000 portfolio, or sorry, $100,000 portfolio, which is definitely a lot for a lot of people, you would have made $3,500 last month. 26 total trades, 80% win, 81% win rate with an average of a 13.86% ROI. It's not just trading, day trading and stuff that we do in here. There's also long-term holds, stock market updates, research reports, also just a ton of educational guides to help you get started on your investing journey. If you're young, if you kind of don't really know what to do, this, I think, it really is a great place. We're not looking to sell you on anything. This is just, we're wanting to help people. Obviously, we're, sports bettors, but that's why we partnered up with Jason. He's got a ton of experience and very, very skilled at what he does. And then obviously Mitch and I, who run Juice Bets, we've been investing for about a decade now, and have been kind of in that world for a while. So I personally think there's a lot of value here. There's a 2-week free trial. Just send me a DM. Or just go to the Juiced Wealth Twitter and you can do that. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that we do have an investing community if it's something you guys are interested in. And again, it's completely free for the first 2 weeks, and then it's just $50 a month. Nothing crazy. But it's like a smaller community, just a good way to kind of build up that wealth and also protect it. Be smart about what you guys are doing with your money. I highly recommend you guys check it out. Alrighty, well, I think that kind of does it here. Bit of a slower day for esports, but that's okay. We got lots of good bets in on Chalkboard, Polymarket, all that kind of stuff. To finish it off, let's go ahead and place a bet, because I don't think I actually got this bet placed earlier, which was sent in the Discord. Giants and D-backs under 8.5 runs for 0.75 units, plus 100 to minus 110. Giants and D-backs under 8.5, and we will set an order for even money. Now, you could probably just market buy this too, to be honest. I mean, it's, what is it, minus 107 or something? Yeah, minus 107. Probably market buy it.
I'm going to sit here, see if I get filled. Actually, we could just check if I'll get filled. Yeah, there's only $600 ahead of me, so we'll probably get filled at even money. But could totally just take minus 107 as well. So there you go, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, watching the stream. We'll be back at it again tomorrow, hopefully. Let me know if you like these streams. Also, like, what time is a good time for you guys to tune in? I mean, I'm kind of around all day just betting and working on the business and everything. So, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of easy, able to stream whenever. Actually, should we see if another taco came out before we finish it up here? Let's see. Do we have another taco to bet on? Not yet. All right, well, I'll post my tacos on Twitter today so you guys can still get them in. And yeah, as always, everything that I recommend you bet, everything that's profitable, it's all posted in the VIP Discord server. There's a free trial. It's $50 a month. I mean, it's very, very profitable, guys. Like, Mitch and I do this full time. You know, this is what we do. It's all math based. If we go to the recaps, you can see last month. I mean, it's very, very green across the board. Juiced Plus last month. I mean, there's just so many ways to make money nowadays. Month before that, quite profitable. Parlay play, yikes, not so good. But yeah, I mean, overall, over months and months, you're gonna be making money. So yeah, appreciate you guys tuning in.